Hi, so I just got done with a meeting with my client. She was a 43-year-old single white female, has two children, age 13 and 15, and she's recently divorced out of a 12-year marriage. So, and a couple of the things that she brought up when she came in was a bit of inadequacy, low self esteem, um, feeling as a failure um, in the sense that the marriage failed, and then also not living up to certain expectations about being a mom, and a mother. So, what we what the therapy session was geared towards was cognitive restructuring and cognitive reframing. So, what I wanted to do was to challenge some of those cognitive distortions. And one of them she mentioned, um, when I perceive myself as a failure, I feel like the rest of the world is perceiving me the same way, which is a cognitive distortion. We're taking our insecurities and we're projecting them on others, and that's the way we think that's the way that they feel, and the way that they view us as people. So I tried to challenge that distortion by um, seeing if she could check the facts or seeing if she could prove that any of those statements were accurate, along with the reasons of what would consist of her being a good mother. And for instance, we talked about they have a safe place to rest their head at night. They're fed properly. They don't go to bed hungry. And she is working full time, and picked up a job because when she was married, she stayed at home and she didn't work. So she's showing that, whatever barriers arise with her being a mother, that she takes the steps that she needs to do in order to protect her children and take care of her children. So by getting a job with the school system, working as a teacher, it shows her care and compassionate side by working with children who have been diagnosed with autism. And I think that some of that is increasing some of the anxiety, a constant of constantly giving herself and not being able to replenish that. A phrase that I've said before is, you can't pour from an empty cup. And now that she's taken on this role of working full time, taking care of her children, that cup is going to continually need to be replaced. So I felt as checking the facts, and what does constitute her as being a good mother. And she was able to come to the recognition that teachers have told her that she has well-behaved children, and they act appropriately, and they are respectful and engaged. And so that helped dispute some of that belief. Also that, she makes dinner for them and she comes home and the house is clean, and that it's also okay that there are days where that doesn't exist. And it teaches her children that you can still learn to love yourself and be okay with yourself, and things not be perfect. In fact, that's good for children to witness. So when they get older and they're experiencing more of these like stress levels and stress-inducing problems and situations, that they'll understand that, okay, this doesn't have to be perfect in order for me to accomplish it. So I think that we disputed some of those facts, that she stepped in, she got a job so she could support her children. She comes home. She takes care of their needs as far as making sure that they're fed. They're in outdoor and outside activities. That she's there for them emotionally when they need her to be. And that she doesn't have to do everything right in order for that. So a lot of questioning her role as a sufficient parent, and I think that helped reframe that, and challenging those automatic negative thoughts that if there's not dinner on the table immediately at 6:30, that today was a rough day and I got dinner on the table tonight, and I can be okay with that. So we did talk a little bit about replacing those automatic negative thoughts with positive ones. And before the session wrapped up, I asked her to start speaking some of those affirmations to herself daily. Recommended putting them on her bathroom mirror, which could be in a sticky form, piece of paper, and just taping it up there. That says, I am lovable, and I am worthy, and I am good enough, and I am imperfect, and that is perfect in itself. And reading those, and even if we aren't in a place where we believe them in the moment, it's okay, because the hope is that we will get there. And so, if I were to meet with my client again in the future, then we would talk about how these affirmations have helped, if they have helped, and if that intervention was working for her. So those are some of the things that we would explore. So doing the cognitive restructuring, identifying negative automatic thoughts, replacing those with positive thoughts, and learning to reframe that when it pops up in our head. And the first thing is, if I have awareness of this, then I'm on the right path. If I have awareness that that's my first thought, and if my thought is that I'm not worthy enough, that's a core belief about who I am. And if I continue to feed that, it continues to grow. But if I can wake up and tell myself in the morning that I am worthy and that I am good enough, despite if the day doesn't turn out the way I am wanting it to, that I am still okay, and I am still enough, and I am worthy. So I am willing to take feedback on that process and on that session, and hopefully it went pretty well. So anyway, looking forward to seeing some of the other video role plays. Have a good night. Bye-bye.